You can.
Greetings and welcome to Serenity Healing Center, where all changes are possible. I'm here today with Angela Blaha, the lady that will help us open the door to endless possibilities with beautiful questions and her beautiful work. Angela is intuitive and emotional mastery mentor. I have to read this because it's mouthful for me. For
Yeah.
purpose-driven high achievers. Does that mean I'm a high achiever, Angela?
Yes, it does. It does.
It does sound really amazing. So Angela is a healing heart and soul wounds transforming mentor and healer, and she takes you from the space where everything is uncertain and everything is chaotic to back to yourself, helps to heal your heart and helps to heal your soul and helps to find your own power. So Angela, I had one question from one of the ladies from my different class. I call them Tadadies because the class was ta-da.
Oh, I love that.
it was magical. So she asked me, what did Angela do for you? I think it speaks for itself. I'm here for one. Self-confidence, a lot of healing, a lot of heart healing, that's for sure. The old pain and removing a lot of illusions, seeing for who I really am, that I don't need to go outside other than finding people like Angela, like other people that I'm bringing into this space to talk about things that we do together. The stuff that we really need is the knowledge that we hold within. We just need people that help us unlock the truth about us. And that's what Angela did for me. Eternally grateful. So,
You're all welcome.
so Angela, when did your journey start?
I want to say when I was born.
And I knew it.
You know,
She was born like that.
well, I may not have realized it
Mm.
throughout my whole life, but yeah, I think I came very purposefully, and I came purposefully into the family that I chose to be a part of. Um, there were, well, I was super intuitive, like when I was young, and at the ripe old age of 16, like it became very clear to me that not everyone was as knew things that I knew. And so, I sort of quieted it down and didn't express it too much because I was pretty much an outsider my whole life. And I knew it, I knew I was different, especially at that age when I could, tell people the future. And I thought it was normal, but apparently it wasn't. So, but I think that this is part of my mission is we need to make that normal, right? Like we need to make that burning deep desire that you have inside of each one of us. We need to make it a normal thing. Like that's, I think, is my legacy. So,
Isn't that something? And it feels like right now we have the space and the energy to actually step into it and be who we really are. When before it was like you said, oh, I told you see that too. You don't know that? I mean,
right.
yeah, the things that we see, like, do you see colors? Apparently not everybody do, but yeah, we do see colors.
Yeah.
So looking through your life, when was that big moment when you decided I'm gonna share what I am, who I am, and what I can do with others? How long ago did that happen?
Um, I want to probably around 2010. It was like, it was so, um, I don't even know the word. It like the passion in me was so on fire that I couldn't bring it into everyday life, you know, like I couldn't stuff it down anymore. It was like, okay, I'm either gonna burst or I'm gonna leave the planet or something because I can't continue to keep things quiet. And so it was right around that era or about that time frame when things really started to ramp up.
Mhm.
Even though I shut it off when I was going into college, and then became a went into the psychology world. I think that was very intentional on my part to help understand the emotions and how the emotional body plays into not only intuition and knowing our deeper selves, but it plays into the whole sociology of humanity and the big picture of things. And so yeah, it was around 2010. It was like, okay, you can't keep quiet anymore. So
So you got quite an experience already in this field. Um,
mhm.
so what is the best thing about being Angela, and what's the most challenging?
I think I could probably answer the most challenging before the best.
Sure. Let's
um,
start with the good stuff.
right. The most challenging is knowing things. And not being heard because we have a very right now the humanity the consciousness is very much zombie-ish, like they just are have blindfolders on, they don't want to know things, they don't want to really work towards a different level of consciousness. That I did not really expect. I knew from very early on, like early 20s, I was here for the shift in consciousness. When that would be, I knew that my life would change when I was like 45, 50-ish. And I knew that it would change drastically. Well, that was the whole shift. That's when we started shifting consciousness. Um, and so up until then, I just sort of played along with the whole humanity game. But what became very and still is very hard is knowing that we are shifting and being able to bring enough people to the surface
Mhm.
to make positive change or the change in our consciousness that we really want to see in the world. Like we have total control here. I think that that's one of the hardest things
Mhm.
is that humanity has control here, and we're not using it. We're
They're
not,
not aware of it.
well, they don't even want to be aware of it. I
Mhm.
think that that's the, oh, that's the thing that
Where is
just
the
rips
awareness?
my heart out. It's like, come on, let's be aware that we are in control here.
Right.
Like it's not, uh, like why aren't we standing up? Why aren't we making drastic changes? Not only in our personal lives, well, when we do make these drastic changes, as you know, in our personal lives, it ripples out into the entire conscious field.
Absolutely.
you know and and even if that's the one thing that you change is that you become more aware of what's happening in the world, and that you're the one that holds a lot of power
Mhm.
in the decisions moving forward. Like I think that that is like that's a game changer. When we can figure that out, the whole entire game of humanity changes, and we stop being oppressed, we stop being victimized, we stop with the whole detrimental and atrocities that have happened throughout humanity's lifetime, and we start actually being empowered.
Right.
I think that that's the one thing that I've always known is that we hold the power. And I think that's probably the best thing is helping people understand that they hold the power, and bringing that out. And do we need to heal those childhood wounds? And most of us do, especially if
Mhm.
you're a woman, because we hold that emotional body so close to us, and
Mhm.
we've been taught throughout the years that you either suppress your emotions as a woman or you become irrational. with your emotions. There's no in between here. And I think that that's where the healing comes in. But the empowerment component is the best. Like when you can help someone heal up those crazy belief systems and those old, perspectives, and you can empower someone to change that, like that's where the power resides. That's the best part.
Yeah, I totally agree. Coming from the space when you feel like life comes at you and things are happening to you, to finally pause and say, wait a minute, who is the boss here?
Yeah.
Who is creating your life? And
Yeah.
realizing that by removing that illusion that someone is totally in control of your life, and understanding step by step that you are the one that creates life, that what you think, what you say, what you do, what actions you take matters, because that is what changes your life. You take your power back little by little, step by step.
Yeah,
And
I'm going to add one component to that, and that's creation power. Like we, as a human race, have not been in creation power for a really, really, well, probably 5 to 10,000 years.
Mhm.
And we don't really remember it, right? Like we don't have cell memory like we do with our wounds. We have lots of cell memory that, go back in our DNA that remind us, oh, we shouldn't be doing that because, we're going to be killed for that, or we're going to be, whatever it is.
Punished for
But
that.
yeah, but we don't have a lot of cell memory of that creative power that resides within us, that huge creative kind of energy that literally can create worlds,
Right.
you know? Like, for example, when's the last time that any really amazing creation was here on the planet?
I was born.
Well, yes, true. Well, I mean, but
Yes.
other than, I'm going to say probably not. I'm going to say Nikola Tesla because he's coming into my consciousness here.
Mhm.
But his ability to take natural energy and
Mhm.
create it so that we could actually use it for free here it was destroyed.
Right.
All of his thinking, all of his channeled ability, bringing that power, that kind of power into creation here was destroyed. It was oppressed. I don't think we've had anything like super conscious that would actually evolutionize humanity since his time, for sure.
Is it coming though? Is something like
It's
that
here.
It's
It's
here.
here. It's whether or not we can actually grab onto it and bring it into a conscious reality.
Mm.
Mhm.
So this is my next question. 2023. How do you summarize your 2023?
Mm. Well, for me, 23 brought a lot of clarity. It started off, working on my own health and my own wellness. And that continues today, of course. But it also brought in like this new earth energies, this creative kind of power, that I was just talking about. And it literally helped me to move forward in the hypnosis certificate. I've been a hypnotherapist for a really long time, but the heart healing kind of components started coming in.
Mhm.
It also changed my focus into from healing to activation. Um, excuse me. And it changed my confidence level when that actually happened. And so it makes me work in the world in a whole different way than what I did before. So, 23 was actually a very clarifying year.
I agree. It was a
Mhm.
lot of changes for me also. Relocating was the major, and then a lot of things in my mind and in myself were also swept out with a big broom, and I have made room for greater things. And
Mhm.
it feels great when you tap into the energy of what you have in your hand and what you are capable of. I have tools, by the way. I do. I have pink toolbox.
Love it.
I have a toolbox. Besides those tools, there is a lot of other energetic tools that we are talking about right now. And from 2023, that's sweeping the floor and making space for new things, we zoom into 2024. And how does that beginning of 24 look like, Angela? Seems like a lot of changes in your area, in your business.
Yeah, for sure. So like I'm very much into progression and looking forward. Like I rarely look back any longer. Um, and so when I was looking forward to 2024, um, there were a lot of predictions that literally came in, which sometimes I have those and sometimes I don't. It just really depends on where I want my focus to be.
Mhm.
And so there were a lot of predictions, not only for myself, but for the entire world, that I think that we're going to see this year. I'm excited about 24, to be honest, because what I see is there's a lot of turmoil as we experience every single day, right?
Yes.
There's also going to be a lot of revealing of truth, which is I've been asking. So we're going to go a little bit weird here. I've been asking the Universal Council for a really long time now, and I
Uh,
think that these things are going to actually start to happen this year. So for me, it's very exciting.
yes, I agree. I also feel like I looked at stuff that it's happening, and not that I watch TV constantly, but when it's on, my husband likes to watch news. So sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at what I'm doing and people in our field are doing and how we are expanding. And everybody is in this action to create, let's do something. And on the other hand, you have this chaos. So it's like in the center of the chaos, here we stand and we are building, we are busy, we are doing things. So I totally am in it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
2024, yeah, does feel really good. So you are also an artist.
Mhm.
So what's new in that field? Because I know you are combining something. You have
I
something
am combining.
new.
So for me, it is the heart healing. You know, when we healed something, we have to replace it with something. You can't just leave it void. And I think that in the past, we didn't have this creation kind of energy that was available to everyone. It was available to those who could sort of catch on to it. But
Mhm,
now it's really, there's an abundance of it. And so for me, it's all about healing. And then what do we activate? Like, what's your deepest desire? What's your legacy? Like, what are you really here to
mhm,
purposefully bring into the consciousness, you
mhm,
know? And I think that that's the combination of those things. Well, for one thing, it requires me to have new values, and it requires me to pull forward people who are a bit hesitant, you know, who don't really know the path forward, or you know, we've focused on healing for such a really long time here that it's scary to look at the future and it's scary to take a step
mhm.
forward, you know.
Right.
So I think that my role is to sort of bring some comfort into
Mhm,
that creative kind of power.
mhm,
And I think that through my art, I think that that activating makes it
mhm,
very comfortable in the physical body, so that we don't have these fears of these weird paradigms of, oh, I can't create that, or I can't be this powerful, right? I can't go in and, you know, completely change my life. Yeah, you're the only one that can.
yes,
You
yes.
know? So I think that that's bringing it all together, is bringing the mind, body, spirit, and how do we actually do that moving forward.
That's beautiful. I love that. I love your art. I love the especially flowers. I get like really around flowers. I feel like it's like summer music for me.
Yeah.
I'm looking with my eyes at your art, and I feel like stuff is moving. The energy of the colors and everything, how you put together. I feel really your heart, that beauty that you hold within comes out in your art, and I wish everybody to experience that. So if you guys interested to do painting with Angela, I'm guessing you're doing stuff in your local area where you live, so people can physically come and meet with you and work with you this way.
Yes. Yes.
What about those who are outside of your town?
Well, I think I'm being motivated, intuitively motivated to do retreats again, but they're going to be totally different than what they were in the past. They're actually going to be um, legacy kinds of retreats using creative power and creative energy through art, through beauty, through all of the strengths of the natural world.
Mhm.
And then, marking them in the energy field, because I think that we haven't done that for a really long time either. And that's part of the creative power is, when you're marking something in an energy field, like what's the intention behind it? We're good at creating intentions, but there's in the past, I don't think that we put the power of our
Mhm.
own um, creative genius behind it. And I think that that's probably what is one of the mental and emotional powers that we're bringing in instead of the illness of mental and
Mhm.
emotion is okay. If I'm going to put a mark here or a paintbrush stroke here, like what's the power behind it? And when I am creating art, like there's a lot of that happening,
Mhm.
and the fluidity of it, like okay, this is going to activate the power, this kind of power within people. So yeah, that's fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I used to create in my breaking moments, like
Mm,
as even a little kid, I would create poem, but it was because something threw me over the edge, because something hurt and I want to say what's hurting, or I felt something was beautiful and I want to say it's beautiful. When now it's the force, not internal, like craving to create, but it's no longer with create with pain, like you said, just
yeah.
create because the energy flows. So
Yeah.
I am not much of an artist as a painter or anything in such. I like to do poems, and when when I see something that lifts me up, especially when it comes to music, I see my soul dancing inside, and I
Mhm.
always say, oh, I wish I could dance like that with my physical body.
You can.
Until then,
You can.
I'm
I sure
dancing
you
and
can.
my soul is dancing. Now I'm gonna leave it for my soul right now
Exactly. See,
until
it's
I
all
get
one.
flexible enough.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, this is great. So how can those who are trying to or deciding to become leaders in this field, to stand in their power, to understand who they are, and to teach others how to do the same thing, how they can reach you other than Facebook?
Um, I have a webpage. It's www.angelablaha.com, on all the social medias. So LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I have a small TikTok platter, but it's not very
Not ticking
much.
talking much.
No.
Ding
Um,
dong.
yeah. So otherwise I'm on all the things.
Ring my doorbell more like.
Yeah.
You also have podcast. I enjoy your podcast.
Yeah.
Um, and it is the blueprint.
So everything is changing.
Oh, I knew there was something in because I didn't see next episode. I'm like, what is the next one?
Yeah. So I'm busy creating the next level, the next step up, and it's going to be the influencer.
Ah, amazing.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
influencer.
and I think that that's another important message to send to people is like we need to become influencers of positive change of what we want to see in the world instead of, letting all the other influencers dominate and,
Right.
you know, I mean, we can't leave legacies without being an influencer. It's just not even a possibility. And
Um,
so, we don't have to be on a large worldwide platform. We can be on a, real small platform if we want, or just, being an influencer in your own little communities or your own family, right? But I think that that needs to become like a mainstay, like a it becomes the norm,
mhm,
right? We need
right.
to be creating geniuses in the world, and we need to like everyone should be a genius in their own right, and we all are. We just don't tap into it,
Right.
you know? And I think that that needs to become the norm. Like we all need to be tapping into our own genius. Without it, we just become well, we're all going to destroy ourselves
Right.
without it.
Yes.
That's kind of where we're headed. So we don't need that. We don't want that. We want to become influencers. We want to become those influencers of positive change, of things that we really want a world. How do we really want the world to be? We all say we want, peace and harmony and all that stuff, but are we acting in peace and harmony every single day?
Are we waiting for somebody to do it for us?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to
No
happen that way.
magic. The only magic is here. You gotta let it out. Right, Angela?
Agree.
I am excited. Waiting for the first episode. Do you know when it's coming?
It should be out either this week or next week. So,
Yay.
mhm.
Great. Beautiful.
Yes.
So, any great questions for the end to top it and tie it nicely?
Well, I think the biggest question for 2024 is are you using your intuition? Your intuition. I'm not talking about guides, angels, mentors, any of that kind of thing. I'm talking about your own power, your own internal flame
Mhm.
that really can catapult you like forward in ways that you never dreamed possible. I think that that's the question for 2024 is are you really tapping into that? How
Mhm.
do you know you're tapping into that? And are you going to use it to allow your life to like blossom
That's
really?
a great question.
Yeah.
Angela, you are great in asking questions, and that's been always very, very helpful for me. So, just to summarize, guys, Angela doesn't tell you, hey, do this or do that. Angela asks you question, and your intuition will tell you the answer, will give you the answer. It will give you the steps. And I feel this is the greatest thing because you learn how to work with yourself. It
Mhm.
gives you the power and gives you the understanding how you work internally and bring it out, bring it out to the surface and bring it out into your physical life. So thank you, Angela, very much. It
Thank
was
you.
really great to have you here. And
Yes.
until the next time, guys, be that change you want to create and create the world you want to live in. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.